At this point, Bamidele Ayemibo, lead consultant, 3T Impex Consulting, joins me from Lagos, Nigeria. It's nice to have you around on the program.
Yeah, good. Hey, how are you?
Of course, I'm fine. Thank you so much. Now, let's look at these three countries, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger. They have said that they want to establish a confederation, and we know that a confederation is somewhat of a looser form of union compared to a federation. And each member state retains significant autonomy, but they cooperate on certain matters like probably defense, foreign policy, and trade. So, considering their socioeconomic sizes, can this alliance succeed? Or maybe this is just an effort in futility?
You know, I like the question you asked. I won't be able to predict whether you succeed or not. There are a lot of factors they need to consider. The economies are very small. But when I look at, during our conversation the last time, and I was looking at the dynamics of their trade, if I look at it from security perspective, I think the cohesion will help them a lot to come together and work as a team to fight the insurgents. I think that's a good one for them. For trade among themselves, they are small economies, so they can't really depend on themselves. As far as trade is concerned, they need other countries. And, I mean, they're already having those alliances. In fact, one of the things that made them to want to pull out is that they want autonomy as far as their economy is concerned. And they want to reduce pressure from AU and ECOWAS. Now, and from their trade, as it is right now, even within ECOWAS rely on their market more than they rely on ECOWAS market in terms of trade. They do more in terms of their export to many countries outside of Africa. So for trade-wise, I mean, either they are with us or not, they still already are not doing much with ECOWAS anyway in terms of export. But for security reasons, I think it will be a good one for them if they can work together to be able to fight the insurgents. In terms of whether it will be successful or not, I think we have to look at it from different perspectives and different metrics as far as I'm concerned. So I won't be able to say whether it's going to be successful or not. But if I'm looking at it from trade perspective, maybe among themselves it will be good, and they're already doing with outside. In terms of security, I think it will be good for them security. They're also thinking of monetary union. Maybe that will help them because they want to pull out of dependence on France and maybe have control over their foreign reserve.
Let's quickly look at the economic potential of these three countries. Now, they have gold, lithium, uranium, zinc, copper, diamonds, gas, crude oil, limestone, and some others. And it's been said that these are the mineral resources that their colonial masters have feasted on for decades. And now analysts say that taking back all these mineral resources and forming an alliance would result in accelerated economic boom for them, and that ECOWAS should also be weary. So when you look at the economic potential that they have, don't you also see it in that light that if they're able to form alliance and have that synergy, they might just be able to take probably West Africa by storm?
Now, those products you mentioned is not being together that will help them, because they will be trading those things with people outside of Africa. So having autonomy over it is extremely important. I think it's a very good development. Only that you have to go this way for this to happen, but it's good for that nation. But in terms of trade, they are going to be trading with people outside. So at the end of the day, it's good for them as individual country, and they now have enough resources for development of themselves and be able to fight insurgents. So if you look at it from that perspective, it's not the Confederation that is doing this, it's the fact that they are having independence of the West and they are able to have control over their resources and be able to trade and generate all the income. I think is where the benefit is for them. Coming together, I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing that in terms of security. I'm not seeing that in terms of trade, in terms of export, because they won't buy commodity for themselves. They all need to export this commodity to generate income. But maybe trading some other products among themselves will help, which ECOWAS is already doing anyway. So I don't see a lot of difference in that because they're already doing that as member of ECOWAS. So I don't see a lot of difference in that among trading among themselves. But in terms of autonomy about their product and shipping abroad, of course, that will generate a lot of funding for them to be able to develop their country like they're planning to do.
All right, so let's quickly look at the excuses these military juntas have given for, of course, exerting a coup in their respective states. Now, excuses have been given in these countries, which also include the struggles to contain Islamist insurgents. You mentioned it a while ago, and that has actually destabilized the sub-region for a couple of years now. There's also the continuous plunder of resources by their colonial masters while the people remain impoverished. There's also the issue of democratic leaders being puppets of the West and former colonialists, and the lavish lifestyle and perpetuation in power by these leaders amidst large-scale poverty. So when you look at these excuses, are they valid reasons for military takeover in a country where a person or a candidate was democratically elected?
You know, there is a challenge I see in Africa around the way we have adopted democracy. Some countries are not in democracy, they have monarchy, and they've been able to do what they need to do. So, in as much as military regime is dictatorial, and because of the enormous power can then become the absolute power corrupt, absolutely, that is a concern for many people, and that explains the reason why there are apprehensions here and there. But the fact still remains that democracy is not working for Africa the way we practice it.
Why is that? Why is that? Because when you look at other countries and other climes, democracy is said to be burgeoning. So why is it not working in Africa?
The way we practice it. The way we practice it. We practice it the way the West have advanced a lot and they can afford what it is. I believe strongly. You know, when you say dictator, look at this. The issue with dictator is what the dictator is dictating. If you have a dictator dictating the right thing, then you won't say it's a dictator, because at the end of the day, they call Kagame dictator, for example. It's a form of democracy. But Kagame is making Rwanda to grow. Of course, he has his own issue and the like, but all in all, Rwandan people are happy with the kind of country they have today because of what this guy is doing. So what I'm going to say is that we need, in quote, a form of dictatorship done by someone that is thinking for his people, that love his people. But we say we don't have dictator, but some people are dictating for the African government that is making them to impoverish their people. These people, as long as you submit to what they want, no matter what you do to your people, they are okay.
So who are those dictating? I'd like to quickly find out from you. Who are those dictating to these African leaders?
French now, what France is doing with them, they see them as puppets. Look at this. Do you know Washington have recognized Niger military to work with them? Why? They said, look, we can't change this, we have to work with them. Now, why is making America to do that? America is thinking of its own interest. America is thinking of its own interest. This is supposed to be one of the foremost democracies in the world. Taking of their own interest. They are trying to accept these people. Look, we need to think of our own. As long as it allows us to do what we need to do, we have to accept it. These are the West accepting it. Now, I was trying to say something about the fact that one of the complaints they gave is AU, who support democracy, ECOWAS, champion democracy. When the democratic leader is impoverishing their people, AU keep quiet, ECOWAS keep quiet. Now we say we don't want it again. You guys are put under pressure. In fact, the Burkina Faso leader said it's not more interested in talking to ECOWAS and AU because whenever they come, they are looking at what is the date of election. That's what they're interested in. And when are you going to hand over? They're not interested in what is the state of our people. And this is what making these people to be angry. And then we are responding and we are shutting them down like we want to cripple them economically. It's good the way Benin Republic and Togo is, even Ghana is saying they're not going to stop the support they are giving Burkina Faso. Togo and Benin Republic are saying, we're going to allow you, they have opened their border for them to be able to train. Because look, in Yoruba Parliament they said the cutting the head is not the solution to headache. This has happened. What can we do? These people are mean well for their people. Okay, what can we do? We should be looking at win-win situation rather than saying you must return to democracy, even if democracy is not serving them.
Okay, I understand. Well, now let's look at the response of ECOWAS. Now, I think ECOWAS in a bit has tried to be diplomatic and it has tried as much as possible to appeal to their ego, and it has told them to look at this issue critically, to rethink about the decision, and try as much as possible not to pull out from the bloc. Now, it seems as though the military juntas in this country have remained adamant, but then what would you suggest for them to do, looking at all the issues that you've painted around what they can gain and what they stand to lose?
What I think is these guys have assessed the situation and realized that we are really have nothing to lose living ECOWAS. If ECOWAS will do this to us because of we say we want our country to be better, we don't want these people that are impoverishing in our country. You are not supporting the fact that we want to be free. You want us to go back to what will make us not to be free. So my opinion, I think, look, the decision they are taking, it doesn't look to me they want to go back. Forming an alliance, trying to get single currency, it doesn't look like me they want to go back. They said they want to be able to negotiate trade independently without the cost of ECOWAS. It doesn't look like me they want to go back. I think coming back is better because when you are together as a cohesive force, you are better off, which is why they are trying to form an alliance together. They are still realizing it. So I see possibility of coming back in future because they can see they themselves that, look, we need a team. We need to work together to be able to be a cohesive force, a force to reckon with. But the ECOWAS have to come to terms with the fact that what these people want is for their country to be better. And don't try to twist us to do what is not doing well for us because you are in that. If it's working for you, it's not working for us. So I think they should do what America is doing. America is saying, we have accepted the way you are, and we will work with you the way you are for our own interest, rather than saying you must return back to democracy.
Okay, but then you cannot take away from the fact that these countries have remained hard-headed because of the Russian factor. Now, Russia has provided military expertise and financial support to these Francophone countries in the last few months, thereabouts. But then experts have said that they will need to be wary, they will need to be cautious of Russia, that they can't be trusted. Do you think they should trust Russia, or they should just take caution?
Not just Russia, even with Turkey, I think Burkina Faso with Turkey, you are very correct. You are very, very correct. Every country, look, aid is never for free. Whatever support any country is giving is never for free. It is always to garner soft power. It is always to generate soft power. So I agree completely. They need to be treading carefully and be cautious to be sure that they are not over-reliant on this and becoming difficult to pull out because they now rely so much on them to be able to fight the insurgents or do whatever they have to do. So I strongly agree they need to be cautious. Whoever it is, either China or Turkey or Russia, whoever it is they're working with or trying to support them, they need to be cautious so that it doesn't become a tool for manipulation from these people.
Okay, let's go back to the issue of AU and ECOWAS you mentioned earlier, because one of the allegations or complaints by these three countries was that AU and ECOWAS have not really supported them in terms of helping them grow economically, politically, and otherwise. But then when it comes to their political cycle, their election cycle, oh, they are always interested. Does it seem as though these bodies have lost their relevance, or they have lost focus when it comes to protecting African countries, especially within the West African region?
I think they are losing their relevance. Losing, not lost, losing their relevance. And the reason is simple. Not being interested in the progress of the people the way the people want it. Trying to keep their oppressors in power by tool of democracy is a challenge. So I would say they have lost their relevance. I would say they are losing their relevance because if these three countries pull out and they successfully do it and the economy they start to grow, other people are going to say, so why are we here in the first place? Why are we here in the first place? But that will work for countries that is not significantly relying on African countries. The fact that intra-African trade volume is very low contribute to this, which is why if AFCFTA becomes very, very successful, this will be difficult to happen in future, which is one of the reasons with ETLS in West Africa. ETLS is not working very well in West Africa, and ECOWAS is not doing enough to make ETLS work. if ETLS have worked very well in West Africa, such that every part, not just a few, is benefiting, it will be very difficult to pull out because it's going to affect you and affect your people.
Bamidele Ayemibo, lead consultant, 3T Impex Consulting. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us.
Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Of course.